Now we are into the last session, which is I think is going to be incredibly inspiring because the three people we're about to bring on, I have learned so much from. And while Aish, Aish is amazing because I think people have seen tonight we have so many partners and we have so many different people from such a diverse group of people, but at the core, Aish is an educational organization. Yeah. And the inspiration where that education comes from is from our educators. And the three people that we're about to bring on now, and we saw it also with Sarah Pachter, she is one of our core educators, but now we're about to bring on three rabbis who are really out there educating so many people, inspiring so many people, connecting so many people to Judaism for the first time, for having such a tremendous impact. So we're going to bring on now Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe, who is the executive director of Torch, which is an amazing Jewish educational outreach organization that covers throughout the state of Texas. You think Florida's big, Torch covers Texas, right? And so many different cities there. We're going to bring on Rabbi Menachem Lehrfield, who is the executive director of Joy, which is part of Aish in Denver, who's working with young families throughout Denver and has been a big voice on social media and part of the Aish family for a long time. And Rabbi Freiberg, who is the founder and executive director of the Jewish Wisdom Society, which is part of Aish in New York. So rabbis, come on.
Hello, rabbis.
Okay.
Hello.
You guys
hi, Jamie. Hi, Rabbi. Nice to be here.
Past your bedtime. Oh, well, Rabbi Lehrfield, you don't have an excuse. You're in Denver. You're a couple hours behind. You're looking chipper. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being part of this. We're going to jump into a few questions. I'm going to hand it off to Jamie. You start.
Okay, so we're kind of going to go around the screen, and what an honor to be sharing the screen on the show with the rabbis. Rabbi Wolbe, podcasting has been such a focus for you. I wanted to know how that came to be and how you've used that platform now post October 7th.
So first, thank you guys so much. This has been a magnificent program. The entire program. I know you're an hour and 46 in, and it's 4 a.m. for you, almost 5.
No, it's almost 5. Let's correct the rabbi. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So the truth is like this: is that as soon as technology was developing more and more, we said in Torch that every rabbi should have a camera in front of him, a microphone in front of him, and just share what you're teaching here to the local community. Share it with the world. Who knows? Maybe it'll do something. My brother really spearheaded the podcasting part and has been just at the top of the charts worldwide. And
literally, you guys have some of the most popular Jewish podcasts that are out there today.
Yeah, my brother's Parsha podcast is really exceptional. Rabbi Yaakov Wolbe, you can see him online every platform. And I tried to copy him and do as well as he does, but thank God, united within Torch here, we have I think 18 different shows.
Wow.
A couple on the Parsha and many different topics, question answer, unboxing Judaism, Talmud, and all basics, all dealing with the fundamentals of Judaism, trying to share with the world the wisdom that is so rich, that is such an incredible tradition that we have. And, I was once talking to a rabbi in New York, and he says, come on, give me a break. Podcasting, I said, look, with all due respect, you have your yeshiva. After you give your shir, the 20 guys in your room, that hear your shir, how many of them can replay it? I said, our classes can be heard literally in every corner of the world. Every corner of the world. And wherever I go, people say, oh, we listen to your podcast, watch the videos, listen to, it's like, it really is such an incredible gift that the Almighty has given our generation to have technology, to be able to use it effectively, hopefully, to influence people.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you have, like we said, you guys have influenced thousands and thousands. Okay, Rabbi Lehrfield, I have a question for you. It was soon after October 7th, 2023, right? That you and I, and actually Rabbi Saj also, we led a mission to Israel. And we brought a couple buses of people that were involved with Aish branches all over. And you've led subsequent missions as well. You've brought a lot of people to Israel since that time. Maybe you could just share with us, an anecdote or a lesson, something that just really moved the people that you were with in those missions that you brought to Israel.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do, I want to give a quick shout out to Rabbi Wolbe, because not only does he inspire all those people on his podcasts, but we here in Denver now have 6 podcasts that I can attribute 1,000% and entirely to Rabbi Yaakov Wolbe, because he pushed me on this for years, and I was one of those people who was like, nah, podcast. All of those podcasts and all the future ones really are all attributed to the Wolbes and the great work that they're doing. It's really hard, just to answer your question, Rabbi Elliott, to zero in on one particular part, because these trips are so inspiring. But like you mentioned, we had the opportunity to be in Israel just, I think it was like 3 weeks after October 7th.
Yeah.
And, we're running short on time. And just to go through the process of how we even got that trip up and running, and people thought we were crazy. It was so unheard of. And the whole idea of going in the middle of a war was so really crazy. People thought we were insane.
I think it was one of the first missions, right? It was one of the first.
I think it was probably the first mission of lay people to go to Israel. We were interviewed by 4 different local news channels, and every single one of them was asking, like, why on earth would you do this? And one of the most inspiring parts of that trip was we got to visit the people of Shlomit. This is a community right on the border down south that was deeply affected by October 7th. And we met with this woman, Donna Cohn, who I think all of you probably have heard of and heard from since then. And she was sitting there talking to our group. And she said something that was so inspiring and so moving. She said, her husband was one of the 4 that went to go help out at the neighboring kibbutz. Now, their kibbutz was not infiltrated. They were relatively safe. But the kibbutz next door was calling for help. And these 4 men went over to help. And it was the only kibbutz in the entire southern region of Israel that was infiltrated and did not have a single civilian casualty. And the reason why was because of the bravery of these 4 men. And she said on October 6th, we were practically enemies. We had nothing in common with one another. For those who don't remember, like on October 6th, Israel was in shambles. We were in such a state of disunity. And she said, we had literally nothing in common with these people. We in Shlomit were in a religious kibbutz. Prigan was a secular kibbutz. We had nothing to do with one another. But when the call came, said this woman, Donna, her husband went and then gave his life for these people who were his brothers. And she said it took the death of her husband to realize that we are really one. We are one people with one heart. And she gave us this message of unity, and she was there in tears. And she said, if there's one thing you take from this trip, if there's one thing you take from this experience, is go back to America and share the message of unity. We need to be one. We need to be united. And I think one of the reasons why this platform was so inspiring to me and why I jumped at this opportunity is really this focus on Jewish unity, on how we can come together with all of these different voices. And the diversity is what makes the unity so special. It wouldn't be special if we were unified, but all exactly the same. Right? We are different and we have different voices. And this platform and this slate has managed to get so many different diverse voices together, but around the same important unified mission. And that's something that I think is so inspiring.
Rabbi Lehrfield, thank God you guys are toward the end here, because I'm just in shambles from that story. It's just it's empowering and emotional all at the same time. And I thank you so much for sharing that. That is such a critical message, and it's a critical core belief of this platform and this slate. Rabbi Saj, another core focus of the slate is Jewish education for all. So you're the founder of the Jewish Wisdom Society, super successful Manhattan executives who are taking time out to learn Torah, many for the first time, with a rabbi. Why do you think that is?
Oh, Rabbi Saj, we can't hear you.
Mute. Let's see if we can get the technical difficulty fixed.
I got it.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to inadvertently interrupt the other 2 rabbis who were speaking so well. There are 2. It's a combination of 2 things, and it's really the core thing of what Aish is about, and hopefully what the World Jewish Congress is about. I just want to say, the inspiring thing to me about the World Jewish Congress, which I hadn't heard mentioned yet, is it is the World Jewish Congress. right? There's no other group that really makes sure to have Jews from everywhere in the world, Israel, Brazil, Argentina, all around the world, bring them all together. I mean, God, there's going to be a lot of arguments at that soiree. Bring every Jew in the world together with representatives from all the communities, and let's discuss what we need to do. That's an inspiring idea, right? Inspiring enough that it had a lot to do with the creation of the state of Israel. And hopefully now that Aish is involved, the World Jewish Congress is going to meet the next time, and the next big leap forward will get made. I just wanted to mention that. It's a combination of things, which is really what the theme of the night has been, which is education, and then the power of the tradition of the Jewish people itself. Education and outreach. Most Jews want to know about their heritage. They want to study about it. They want to think about it. There's just stuff in the way. And you got to have people like the people on this slate who are willing to call somebody up, make an offer, nudge, suggest, be passionate about it to get them to try it. You have to be a little bit aggressive, right? And get to somebody and say, hey, I think you're going to like this. It's going to be wonderful. But then, so that's what gets you in the door, right? With these people. But once they start studying, and once you start opening up their heritage to them, it lights them up. I just want to give you a quote that I got literally today, and it was somebody who I thanked from the gala that we had last night. I was thanking him because he made a very generous donation, one of the biggest donations of the night he made. I said, thank you so much. He wrote, nothing I have done could possibly compare to what Aish has done for me in terms of elevating my knowledge of Jewish history, culture, and religion. It has been a joyous ride. This guy was the most cynical guy you could ever have met. I mean, hard case, the rabbis know what I'm talking about, right? You're talking to a guy and he's like, listen, I don't believe in God. I'm secular. I can't even understand why I'm talking to you, But if you share with a Jew their story, which they really want to know, and you can just get by, let's say, the embarrassment or the busyness or whatever it is. I haven't studied in my whole life. If you just somehow get by that and you expose the Jewish people to who they are, we suddenly shine. And that's why there are members of the Jewish Wisdom Society. And that's why many of them immediately signed up to be part of the slate.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And
this is going to be my favorite segment.
I know it is. And Rabbi Saj, I can attest that quote, there are many people who could have given that quote that Rabbi Saj has connected with and is bringing in to be
educated. It's not me. It's all the rabbis here.
It's really amazing. Yeah.
The light of the Torah. It's the light of the Torah.
Rabbi Wolbe, I want to this is our panel of rabbis. We want to be inspired. So let me ask you, I'm sure you've thought a lot about this since October 7th. What is maybe one of the core educational messages that you've tried to share with your students coming out of October 7th?
So it's actually very interesting because right after October 7th, many of the students that were, falling through the cracks started coming back to class. And, some of them were parents of younger children, some, parents of children in college age. And they're saying, like, what do I tell my children? They're feeling proud of being Jewish, but what do I tell them? And I said, we need to start a series just dealing with why should we be proud to be Jewish? I mean, it's not enough to just know, yes, I'm proud to be Jewish, but why am I proud to be Jewish? Not just because I'm part of a family. Just one example, the Torah that we have is the manual for living. It's ours, Morasha Kehilas Yaakov. It belongs to every single Jew. It doesn't belong to the rabbis only. It doesn't belong to the scholars. It doesn't belong to the religious. It belongs to every single Jew. It's yours. You own it. It's yours. Take it, maximize it, use it. It's such an amazing, I teach a lot of Rabbi Weinberg, Zecher Tzadik Levrach, a lot of his Torah. I was like, like Shabbos said, if you know Aleph, teach Aleph. And that's what I try to tell my children, but my students, share whatever you know, wherever you go. Just go out there and share whatever you know. You see something inspiring on the internet, share it, put it on one of your social media accounts, put it out there and let people know, share it. Know what you're proud of, and you'll live a much more enriched life. It really is. It's amazing. Just so that you know, I learned by Rabbi Berkowitz in Aish before he left Aish and then came back later. So I had a good kufa, a good period of time where I was learning in Aish, and then went to the Jerusalem Kollel before it was called that, and then moved to Houston. And it's just such an amazing time to be alive, to see that, wherever you go, the Jewish pride is there. And to me, by the way, being part of the slate of Aish Ha'am, what I'm seeing is that most of the people you interview tonight, I have no idea who they are. But
don't worry, a lot of people do, but that's okay. That
I know. But that's the amazing thing, is that everyone is a jewel, and bringing all of them together in such a slate. I've never seen such a unified, diverse group of winners. It's amazing.
It's so beautiful what you said, because I think after October 7th, there was a feeling that our enemies were trying to take our pride away from us. They were trying to dehumanize us. They were trying to, injure us, not only physically, but spiritually, psychologically. And like you said, the response of the Jewish people in so many quarters has been, we have to stand up with pride. But what you said is so important, right, Wolbe, is that we have to be helping people ask the question, what are we proud about? And the more people can understand what they're proud about, that pride even gets strengthened even more. So that was beautiful. Jamie.
I also loved what the rabbi said about everyone being a jewel. So I'm going to take that and run with it and say that the Aish Ha'am slate is like a jewelry box overflowing with gems everywhere. It's like we found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with this incredible group of people. So thank you for that beautiful visual. I love it so much. And I feel the same way. It's like gem after gem after gem of a person. Okay, and one of the great things I love about my job, and I'm putting it in quotes because I can't believe this is my life, is to be amongst the company of so many rabbis. So Rabbi Lehrfield, I have to ask you for some help and inspiration at this time. It has been a dark and challenging time that has dragged on for way too long, longer than any of us thought. When I think about Hanukkah, I think about hopefully a little bit of light coming in the darkness. The days are shorter, and the darkness, it just seems to stretch on endlessly. What type of hope can you give us now? How can you help us dispel this darkness? How can you help us face this? There's like the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and now the physical darkness, with the days that we have.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the Hanukkah story, because that's, I think, really where at least I gain the inspiration I need to make it through the darkness. Hanukkah takes place usually in the darkest night of the year. And when you look at the Hanukkah story, so we celebrate the Hanukkah story, we emphasize so much the lights, the miracle of the oil. But when I look at the two miracles of the Hanukkah story, one, which was the fact that when we reclaimed the temple, they found this one flask of oil that had the seal of the high priest, and they lit it, and it should only have lasted one day, and it lasted for 8. And that's a cool miracle, right? Don't get me wrong. It was great and it was wonderful. But there was also the miracle that this scrawny group of rabbis took on the largest world power at the time and was successful. I mean, if you think about it, it was mind-boggling. And when you put the two miracles side by side, had the miracle of the battle not taken place, the Jewish people would be gone. Literally every single Jew alive would have either assimilated and become Hellenized, or they would have been wiped out. When you look at the miracle of the oil, as cool and as nice and as wonderful as it was, had they not had that miracle, they would have just gone on with their lives. They could have lit the oil that they had. They could have just waited a week and then pressed more oil that would have been pure. Why do we emphasize so much the lights and the oil and not the battle? And I think the answer is that as Jews, we don't fight with swords. Going from your background in baking and cooking, right? I've never seen a Hanukkah cookie with a sword. We have the star, and we have the menorah, we have the dreidel, and we have the shield, but we don't have any swords, right? Why not? Why don't we emphasize the battle? And I think the reason is because as Jews, we don't fight with swords. We defend with everything we have. We defend with swords and tanks and beepers and anything that we have at our disposal to protect our people, we're going to use. But we don't fight with those. Jews fight with light. When our enemies try and push us down, we get stronger, we get prouder. And we've seen that since October 7th. And hearing from Shabbos just a few minutes ago talk about how he has friends that are, afraid to walk around with their yarmulke, with their kippah, or with their Star of David. That is something that we together need to fix. We need to allow Jewish people to stand up tall and strong and proud, because that is the way we fight back. The terrorists want to terrorize us. They want nothing more for us than for us to cower in fear and to, become small. And in those moments, historically, we have always responded in the same way. We've always become stronger and prouder, and all the things that they try to take away from us, we start to do with greater fervor and greater pride. And I think that's where we need to be, and that's what we need to do.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rabbi. Really, really coming into Hanukkah. What a powerful, inspiring message. Okay, Rabbi Sad, you're taking us home. So, Rabbi Sad, we mentioned earlier in the show that we're making this documentary, Frontline Warriors. We're highlighting and telling the story of a number of students at campus. Rabbi Sad went for us one day to Columbia to see firsthand what was going on there. And New York City's been crazy the last year. I mean, there are people who are nervous to get on the subways. There's Jews that are nervous to walk the streets of Manhattan, let alone Brooklyn and other places. Rabbi Sad, I know you've thought a lot about this. Like, what this, for so many Jews today, is the first time, especially younger Jews, but for so many Jews, it's the first time they've really experienced hate, anti-Semitism. What is the Torah response to that? What is Judaism? What's the lesson Judaism is telling us we should be taking from this unfortunate, but the reality is a big part of Jewish history, which is anti-Semitism?
Well, as a rabbi, Rabbi Matthias, that's a pretty epic question that you asked me.
Yes, and you have 90 seconds.
I'll give it my best shot. The Torah really is teaching the Jewish people, and the real lesson that every Jew has to take is that every single thing that confronts us in life is there to provide us the opportunity to become heroes. Every single tragedy, every single bit of hatred that is pointed at us, every a lie that is spoken about us, every poster that is torn down, every soldier that falls, and one way you can see this is when you look at the nature of our enemies. You look at you read about them, you learn about them from people who've been part of Hamas. You learn about it from the videos that come out about how they're treating their own people, right? You realize that all that negativity that's coming at you is telling you're a Jew and you're meant to be part of the solution. You carry the solution. And all opposition in our lives and in our personal lives too. And that's the message of the Torah. The word God for many Jews, I live in New York City. I live in the airport. Word for God for many Jews is a turnoff. You know what I mean? That's part of our job, is to explain why that shouldn't be a turnoff. But the word God and the word meaning are very, very connected. And everybody can relate to meaning. We believe that meaning flows from God. So everything is calling out to us. Live a more meaningful life. Dig deeper. Give more. Figure out what you can do, how you want to go down in history with this year. This has been a historic year. I've never experienced anti-Semitism like this. I never walked home and watched the posters up and torn down, and the guy on my street who next door to my shul who tore one down got beaten up by a guy, and hearing about what's going on in the subway. I never experienced this in my life before. But this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for every single Jew, just like every bit of adversity in life is just an opportunity sent to us, created for us to step up into our true selves and our true destiny. And that's the message of the Torah.
Stunning. Thank you. Thank you. What an honor. Unbelievable to get this messages of inspiration. I was going to go back to sleep. I'm thinking, this just gave me so much power. I'm going to start my day. 5 a.m. I love this. We have 30 seconds left. for each person. I'm so sorry to be the bad guy, but we could go on forever, but we've gone already over time. Why are you running? Why is this election important? Why with Aish? Answer any aspect of that, please, in 30 seconds. We'll go through in the same order we've been going. Rabbi Wolbe.
We need, as a people, we need to fight for our survival. The gift of October 7th was that we became unified like we've never seen before. The difference between last Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and this Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is a total transformation of the Jewish people. We need to do everything we can to get every Jew we know to be part of this incredible mission of unity with the most diverse audience possible. And that's what I believe Aish Ha'am does.
Stunning. Thank you, Rabbi Lehrfield.
Just to echo the same words, I think Aish Ha'am is all about unity and all about strengthening the Jewish people and giving us the ability and the power to fight with light. And that's why I am proud to be a part of Aish Ha'am.
Wow. Are you going to pass over some of your seconds to Rabbi Sash?
I'll grab them. In a nutshell, I've been in Jewish education for 25 years. Every single person on this slate is passionate about Jewish education. And I think that education is the key. We know that as the Jewish people, we're the people of the book. I want the passion for Jewish education to be at that Congress.
Amen. Let's do it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, rabbis. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I don't know where everyone is, but I think like evening and moving
I think just the day for you.
Gotta have a round of applause for Jamie. Jamie, come on. Mrs. Geller. Like,
we're all going to sleep.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Rabbi Elliott. Wow. It felt in some ways like 5 seconds this evening.
I don't know if you've seen it. Well, we haven't, but our team has been telling us all the comments on YouTube and people that are telling how much they've been just blown away by tonight's show. And it's really about the guests that we've had. And these are our candidates. These are people who are so passionate about the Jewish people. They're passionate about the issues. The Jewish people, we have serious issues that we're facing. Anti-Semitism, assimilation, lack of unity, and we have to step up. We have to take responsibility. And this is a list of people or a group of people you heard tonight who are taking responsibility. It's a list of people who are candidates for Aish Ha'am who are taking responsibility. And we're asking every single person out there who's been watching, we need you to also take responsibility for the Jewish people. Join us. Join Aish Ha'am. If you haven't done it yet, go to the website, aish.com/vote, register, become an ambassador. Become part of this inspiring movement. We all have to make a difference. We all have to be part of it.
Join us. We are waiting for you. We're so honored you spent the last few hours with us. For anyone that is watching this in the recording, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. aish.com/vote so you can sign up to get more information about how you can be part of this, how you can join, how you can help, how you can become an ambassador. We need you. We do this together. I think that's what we learned tonight. This is about unity. If we want to achieve our goals in terms of improving unity, Jewish education for all, supporting Israel, and of course, fighting anti-Semitism on campus and around the world, then we need you. So I'm looking forward to seeing your names pop up on our sign-up list, aish.com/vote. Thank you, Rabbi Elliott, for allowing me to co-host with you. It wasn't the original plan, but I'm like, I'm not letting you do this alone. I'm coming here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Jamie, for doing it in the middle of the night. Everyone, I think, had an amazing experience. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Aish Ha'am is running with one clear mission: to infuse our core beliefs into decisions that impact Jews across the world, giving students on campus the resources they need to stand up against anti-Semitism, creating initiatives and opportunities to bring diverse Jews together to build a stronger, united community, creating and supporting initiatives that allow every Jew to access our timeless Jewish wisdom, advocating for Israel's ability to be a strong Jewish state that is making the world a better place.
Aish Ha'am is bringing together a powerful coalition of social media advocates,
thought leaders, and educators
who recognize the importance and the urgency of these goals.
Who you vote for at the World Zionist Congress
will have a direct impact on the next 5 years.
This is your moment.
This is our moment.
Register today.
Voting begins this March.
Together,
Let's
shape
the future.